Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back with you here. As you can see, it's a little bit of twilight right now here for me, and the lights have not quite sunk in quite yet. All I'll tell you is that every once in a while here in Football Manager, you get really upset with the player for doing something or other that makes you really upset. Well, let's go take a look and see what recourse you have. So let's say that you're trying to sell the player who made you upset and he just won't sell anywhere, right? Like there's nothing you can do. Nobody's interested in him, and there's no way to really move forward. There's a couple of other things you can do with this guy. One of them is something I've already done, which is I place him on the under 18. So here we have, we'll look at this guy, Stanislav Yulchenko, right? So like there's nothing necessarily wrong with him, right? Like, I mean, I'm just sort of, sticking him over here in the under 18s, mostly because I don't really want to play with him because I think he's slow and I think he's old, and I don't want a lot of slow and old guys on my team, right? So we'll use him as a good example. First thing you can do, especially if he has not great morale, is you can stick him on your B team, under 18s team or whatever, and let him sit there and rot. Now you can put him out for loan. You can put out for loan and ask money for him, or you can put it out for loan and ask for nothing. We're asking money for him because we'd rather have something for him than nothing. So it's up to you, right? If you really want to screw with him, you keep him on your team, but you just put him out here on loan. There's other things you can do with him as well if you really, really want to get to the guy. So one of them is you can go over here to training, and you'll see that in this case, we're dealing with a guy who is training as a striker, right? Well, what we could do if we really wanted to like make him upset with us is we could have him train as, I don't know, like a right back. Have him train as a right back, like on defend, something like that. So we're going to have him train completely out of position. Instead of training him as an attacking anything, we're going to train him as a guy in a position that he certainly cannot play and has never played before. He's, like 32 years old, right? So he's probably not going to be very happy with us if we do this. So we can go ahead and give that a try. Next thing we can do if we're really upset with him is we can take that intensity level and we can send it to double intensity. What that will do is that will highly increase his chance of injury. What doubling the intensity will do is it will make it so that chances of him actually being able to play are going to be a little bit less. You can have him do an additional focus on something, let's say something that's completely useless for him, just to make sure that he's got a lot more to do. So I don't know, for a guy like this, I'm thinking maybe like endurance training since of his age, right? We might want to put him up for some endurance training just because that would be a really frustrating and hard thing for him to accomplish. And so you can do that as well. You can make sure that he's going to be really, really busy. You can also, if you want to figure out a new trait. So we could figure out a new mental trait for him. And let's say that we want him to have a defending trait. We want to teach him to mark opponents tightly. He's too old to be worth trying to change things now. Well, I have much greater experience, and you will get started on this right now. And so now we have him studying a player trait. Remember, this guy's 32 years old. He's not going to be able to learn this successfully, but that's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is we're trying to mess with this player in game and make it so that his morale goes down and make it so that he's a little bit upset with us, right? So we've got that figured out so far. There's still a couple of other things that we theoretically could do to him to make him know that he's not really welcome, right? So we have him training at the wrong position. We have him learning a player trait he's not going to be able to learn. We have him with all sorts of extra training and all sorts of extra stuff. We're ignoring the physio recommendation because we're going to be total jerks to this guy. Now, we can always talk with him. We don't want to praise him for anything. What we want to do is we want to warn him, and we want to criticize especially his conduct. The reason why we want to criticize his conduct is because there's really no rhyme or reason as to how this works, right? So we can criticize his conduct theoretically all day long, and it's not going to make much of a difference, right? Because I don't know what his conduct's actually been like. So you need to improve your conduct. He says, you're being harsh with me, but whatever, I'll try my hardest. 32-year-old experienced striker now has been criticized for his conduct, right? And so, as you can see, there's all sorts of different things that we can do, all sorts of different things that we can make happen for him that he's not going to like. Now, we're kind of fortunate here in that we have this under-18s team, which most teams in World Super League don't have, right? This means that the team that he's on actually plays no real matches. So all of the matches, as you can see, are friendlies. That's a very fortunate thing for us because that means that he will have absolutely no actual competitive matches whatsoever, which means that he's going to feel even more frustrated, right? He's going to be upset about his playing time because he's not going to get any real playing time. And so slowly but surely we'll be able to sort of work this guy down and make it so that he is unable to make any real progress, and so that he feels really frustrated with things in life, and so that hopefully he'll be more willing to go to whatever team comes in for him at whatever price they tend to offer for him. And that's kind of the idea behind this. We want to make life just as bad as possible. Now, if I still had other options, I would do other things. For example, if he somehow unfortunately got injured, what we could do is we could force him into playing as soon as the game allows us to. So as soon as the injury bar is not deep red, but instead that kind of fun, what is it, orange or yellow? As soon as it changes to this color, orange is yellow, you can force the computer manager to start him at whatever position you want. We could force him to start at goal if we wanted to, and say you have to play, and sort of at least get him to start off there, just to piss him off a little bit more and just to frustrate him a little bit more. So that gives you an idea of what we can do. Now, since they're not playing any actual matches, I can't fine him for anything, right? But it doesn't really matter one way or another to me. We just want to get rid of him and make him feel as frustrated as he possibly can. The other thing you can do theoretically is if you make him upset enough, you can get this mutual termination to actually pop up. Usually you have to wait for your weekly team meeting or your staff meeting for them to say, hey, he would go for a mutual termination, and then you don't have to pay as much to just release him. So that's the other option that you have eventually. That's what you do when you want to torture a player who's really upsetting to you. And that's what I would recommend playing around with. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.